Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to play with the Memorydex. Now I had done a small haul, which I don't want my channel to be all about hauls, but sometimes I just want to share what I find, just in case any of you that are on a budget wants to buy things and just kind of trying to help out. But I was talking about these cards from Memorydex. My nail polish came off. Forgive that. And this is the Memorydex. It's by Heidi Swap, and it's just a Rolodex. Back in the day, you used to store telephone numbers or whatever, all kinds of contacts on it. And now it's come back, but it's just to make, well, not now, this has been out for a while, to make little cards and inspirations, and some people use it to store their memories. Like you can put pictures and things that are important to you that you want to remember, and you could just decorate your desk. I like it for inspiration. Every once in a while I like to just change things up, and that's what I started doing. This was made with Tracey Hey Stamp. And I was actually making a video on this one when my microphone went out and half of the video had no sound. So here I am doing this all over again. And that's okay. It's fun. So I'm going to use another Tracey Hay, but I'm going to use one of these guys that will fit in the same die. Now, I don't have a lot of the dies for the Rolodex thing. I normally cut them in my Cricut, and which I'll show you right here. Like I did a tree, and then I started doing this, and then I totally butchered it. But it's just so you get an idea of the things that you can do on your Cricut. But I think I'm going to use a die. I thought I would just cut out some rectangles, and then I can always just use one of the bottoms of these to glue that together, which would be a good option too. So if anyone is not doesn't have any of the dies, you can still use it by just buying regular Rolodex cards from Amazon or Walmart or whatever. But you could just glue it to the bottom, and you could just sandwich it. You know what? Maybe we'll do that, because I mean, not everybody has the dies, and not everyone has a Cricut. So this is a simple way that you can go ahead and still use those cards and make your own. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a tight squeeze, but let's use this one anyway, and then I'll just use the smaller size for that layer. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut these out, and am I gonna use this one, or should I use one of the new ones? Let's use this little guy instead. And then I'll stamp him out, and I'll run him through my scan and cut, since I don't have dies for these stamps. I don't think they make them. But we'll get all that done, because that's all just tedious things. And then we'll come back and color and start putting this thing together, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut out several pieces because I don't know exactly what I'm going to use. And I did use a piece of the scrap for the back piece, since, you can use that. I don't like wasting. So I don't know if I'm going to use this as a background or if I'm going to create my own. But I have him cut out. Ended up fussy cutting him instead, just because the scan and cut made all these little hairs look all wonky. So just decided to fussy cut that out, and now we're just gonna color him, and we're gonna use the Tribal lens from Spectrum Noir. And like always, we're gonna start off with the light color, and I'm not gonna be careful with this part. It's just putting the color down. Doesn't matter if you go over his eyes, because his eyes are closed. And I'm not even going too close to the edge or anything. I'm going to do his body first, and then I'll do his tail separate. Let's get there. And this is his other little arm and his leg. Okay. So then we're going to go in with our darker color. I know these colors can be quite intimidating when you start. With these markers, you can actually like flick and stuff to make the hair, but I'm not going to do that for this. I just want a solid color all the way around. So just go all the way to the end. Let's put some dark down here on his belly, leg. Maybe I didn't want to do that, but it's done already. Okay. And we could even do some here. Everything looks a mess before it looks better. And then start bringing in that mid-tone. And then finally, we bring back the light tone. Let me get my regular one. This tip might be easier to use for this. And you keep blending it until it's the way you like. This is the most work, especially when you use your gray tones. Yeah, let's put a little bit more dark. It's funny, the dark on this one is much more different than the dark on this one. That's that color, and that's that color. Maybe that's why I'm having a hard time coloring it. That's totally weird. It's an ice gray. It shouldn't be that dark. So, if you're going to buy these markers, just be mindful of that. Don't make my mistake, because everything is a little more different. Normally I would go ahead and stamp it again and just try to fix it, but I think sometimes the best thing is just being transparent, and so you can see what does happen. That color is definitely not the same. Let's check all of them. So it's supposed to be ice gray blend, both of them, but even here you can clearly see it's different. Okay, so let's see. This is the light on the bullet tip, and that's the light. Okay, that looks similar. Mid-tone. No, that's darker. And this is the dark tones. Definitely different. Definitely different. So be mindful of that if you're going to use the brush pens, and if you, especially if you're used to using the bullet ones, the bullet tip, it is different. So there, we learned something together today. And yep, I'm gonna leave that in the video because I think that's important. It took me by surprise that that color was so dark. And I'm just gonna add a little more shadow everywhere for him because he is going to be too off if I don't. So that was interesting. Normally you would think if it's the same company you would get the same type of color, but no. I think I'm going to test them all out, and I suggest you do the same if you buy them, so you know the difference. And I'll make a live video and find out. I kill myself. It still looks cute. Okay, he'll do. He's fine. It's like I said, it's just I wasn't expecting it. Let's start with, I don't trust these. Let me start with the light color. Let's see. That's a little too light. Okay. Let's give him a little pink cheek and maybe lighten it up just a little bit. Okay. That was something. Now let's use a little bit of that dark gray, I guess we could use on his nose. That's enough. And then on his ear, yes, add that. Boy, these things are hard to take out. Okay. We may have to add a little bit just to keep it all, or maybe this one, in the same, at least to look as similar as it can look. That was interesting. A lesson learned. And his tail. Let's do our mid-tone. And the rest is basically the same. So I'm going to finish coloring him in and I'll be right back. Okay, so he's colored in, and now we could just add some stuff. Like I always add Glossy Accents, and I'll bring out a glitter pen. Let's see where that's at. And of course, I always use some of my Nuvo Sparkle. So we're just going to add a little bit to him, and then we're going to make our background. I was going to use this, but since the colors I use are pretty dark, it just kind of gets lost. It doesn't look that great. So we're going to just ink up a background. But let's get him going so then we can dry him off. And I think I am going to shimmer up his little hat. Just because I want it to sparkle when the light hits the card. Okay, just a little bit, just to add a little bit of shine. We'll let that dry up. And then for his, you know what? Let's get the light gray and just go around it just a little bit. And then we'll bring in a blender pen and really push that out so it's just a little darker. And then if we want, we can go ahead and just do this. And that's it for that. Now with the Glossy Accents, let's see if it's working today. It never works. We know that. It just dries off in that tip and you always have to like push it out. So now it's working. Let's put some on the tip of his nose. Okay. Let that dry. I'm going to put some here. And we'll let that dry as well. Okay. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do to him. I think it's more than enough. Let that dry up. Let's clean that off a little bit. All right. Now our background. All right. We're going to use purple. I've been meaning to look into new blender brushes and stuff. I haven't gotten that done yet. maybe pink. I don't know what I'm going to use yet, so I'll just bring them all up and then I'll just get my yellow. I think I'm definitely going to use yellow, especially around him, because I want him to stand out a little more. So since I'm going to put him over here, I'm going to start with the yellow. The good thing about these inks is that you can keep putting color until it's what you want. So I'm just going to add enough and then put him in and see up to where I want to add the yellow. And then maybe I'm just going to do the pink. I don't want it to be too busy. All right, let's hold him there. And we could probably add some green to the bottom. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Okay. Let's just add a little bit of the green. A little bit more. And then that yellow on top. And now we can go in with our pink. We might add some more yellow. Actually, I think I'll do that now because I don't want to contaminate my yellow too much. Okay. And now let's do our pink. These colors look so pretty together. And of course, when you mix that pink and that into that yellow, it's going to look a little orangey, and that's great. So now you have another color in there. So let's really blend it in. And almost there. And then let's bring in that pink. Just one big hot mess. But when you start adding in your character, let's bring him here. Everything starts looking super cute. Okay. All right, now we're going to figure out what sentiment we're going to use. If we need to add more color, it'll be fine. We could just add it in later, which I doubt it. I think it's fine. There's still going to be things that are going to cover this up. So it's just basically what it is. It's a background, and I don't think too much of it. Now this is cute. We can always add this back here somewhere. Maybe something like that. And then we have another one here that we can add here. And we can stamp that in black ink, and then our sentiment could go right in the center there. And since this is for my Memorydex, I think I'm going to put down allergic to mornings because that's how I feel sometimes. So I think that would be cute. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that stuff down. And then we'll see if we find something that we can put that on. Where's my platform? Okay, lost my stamping platform. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to use the Versafine for this, and we're just gonna stamp these guys down. I'm not gonna ink up the whole thing because we're not gonna use the entire thing. And let's stamp it in. Super cute. Yeah, just a little bit more. Let's take this off. That's good enough. And one of the main reasons I'm using this is because I know a lot of people picked up these stamps in that Hobby Lobby sale, and some of our new peeps may not know exactly what to do with it, and this is a cute idea. I think so, at least. There's always a spot. I know it's my platform, but I gotta try to get it. Okay, almost. There we go. Okay, so we have that done. So he'll be popped up here. And look how cute that's coming out so far. And now let's find something to stamp that on. And let me find a die that'll fit, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna stamp this, and I think I'm gonna cut it out of a cloud. Just so we could stay in that theme of allergic to mornings. That's cute. Okay, let's put this to the side. That'll be for cleanup. And then we could decide which cloud we're going to use. We can use that one. That was too small. I think this is the right size. So we're gonna tape it and run it through our die cutting machine. I'll be right back. Okay, so it's cut out, and I think it looks adorable. Love it. So we have that. And now, let's see, where did I put my little panels? When you mat and layer this, it's going to look super cute. Okay, so we're gonna start just gluing these down, and then I'll figure out what I want to pop up. Let's start by gluing the back piece first. So let's add glue to this card. I was gonna cut it, but I think I'm gonna use the entire card for some stability. There's my glue. Let's open that up. Okay, let's just add glue to this entire thing here, and then we'll figure out exactly where we want it. And I think there is pretty good. And now we just have to add our glue to the back of this one and just merge them all together. All right. So I'm just showing that, you know, even it's a little crooked, but you know, like I said, you guys take more time with it. That's fine. Even if you don't have the Memorydex cards, you can still made these things. It works perfect. Okay, and now we're gonna put our panel down. I'm not gonna pop this one up with foam because I'm gonna do the rest of it with, well, some of it with foam. So we're just gonna glue this flat. Kind of like that. Let's see if it's even. It's as good as it's gonna get. And then I'm thinking we could pop this one up and then put him behind. So we'll glue him flat. And let's see. I don't mind going off the card a little bit. Actually, I prefer sometimes to go off a little, just to add a little more visual interest. And then we can use some foam tape if I can find it. If not, it's going flat. Let's see. Here's my foam tape. Nope. Maybe we'll just use a piece of this. Gotta improvise sometimes. Let's see, does that fit? Yes, it does. This is not being mailed or anything, so I'm not too concerned. And then put some more glue. And then we can see where we're gonna pop it. Which I'm thinking right about there. Just give it a second. And now we could just go ahead and add a little bit of shine, right? A little bit of sparkle. If you want to add gems, you can add gems, which I most likely will do later. You could also put some water on this and create it like little morning dew. This is so cute. And that's my little character. And he will fit on the Memorydex. And camera won't focus it there. And there you go. So that's my project. I'll take pictures of it. I'm gonna add a little bit of stuff to it. But I think he looks super cute. And I know I used the pink and stuff in this card, but actually it's a different tone, and I think the colors are bright and they look really neat together. So I mean, I love it. I'm enjoying looking at them, especially when I don't know what to do. I just grab some inspiration from them. So I'm glad to have it unpacked. I'm glad that I can play with it again. So yeah, that's my card. And let's show you all of them that I've made so far to continue to fill this little guy up. So these are my cards so far. And the ones that I cut out, I haven't finished them, so we won't show you those yet. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great one. If you like my video, give it a thumbs up or something. I don't know what the lingo is. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I mean, I would love to interact with a lot of people that think like me. Anyway, guys, have a great one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.